pep in their step because they knew they were getting a couple days off?
I don't know. I thought they would, but they've had good energy out here. It's been a good tempo all spring long, so it's about like it has been. I've been very pleased with spring so far. A lot of guys getting better. I like our secondary. They're tough, and they tackled well so far this spring. And then we're getting a lot of reps to a lot of guys that are new to their positions. We have a couple, young running backs or new running backs. So Keem Shavers is getting a lot of reps, and Reggie Pegan is getting a lot of reps, and Gavin Roberts is getting a lot of reps. And that's really important for us right now to find out about those guys. And then same thing at the tight end spot. Gabe Holmes and Crosby Wright are getting a lot of reps. The new guy is getting some reps. And then the same thing at the defensive end position. Gerald Gooden hasn't gotten much work this spring. He's still recovering. So all these new ends are getting a lot of reps. So that's really important that we find out about those guys. And then the other guys, most of them have played some, and they're further along at their spots than they were this time last year and getting better. So we're very encouraged, particularly with the play with our quarterback. Rob Henry looks very comfortable out here, and he's throwing the ball a lot better. They're not all great passes, but most of them are pretty good. And he's running the offense very well, and he's very fast, and they can't catch him. So we're encouraged about him.
Secondary, having all that experience now, all those guys played together a full season. I mean, I'd imagine it's the complete opposite now of what it was at the start of training camp last year.
I think our whole, team resembles that in some ways. We have a lot more guys that played. I believe we have, maybe 17 or 18 starters coming back. So a lot of guys that have lined up, that have played in the games before, and we're further along than we were this time last year. And the biggest difference is, in my mind, the quarterback position. It's the first time since I've been the head coach here that we've had started the spring or the fall off of the quarterbacks played in any games. So that's allowed us to start fast. The secondary is miles ahead of where they were. They're very, very good. Our two corners, I think, are outstanding. I think we have two corners as good as anybody in the league will have. I think they're as good as the other corners that played here as of recent. Those guys are still playing in the league right now. So we're really excited about those guys. Some new guys getting reps, and that's important. We're finding out about Antoine Lewis and Max Charlot, and that's really important for us. Our secondary looks very strong right now. Ishmael is getting a lot of reps out here. First time he's looked healthy and fast and sudden since he's come to Purdue. So we're excited about the progress that he's making as well.
Anytime you take a break like this, it always gives you a chance to sit back and evaluate. But did you feel like you got accomplished what you needed to get accomplished in these first 5
No question. And I've mentioned it before. The calendar worked out just right for us. It's been a long winter, for us. We had, even though it wasn't a large signing class, it was very competitive. And a small class is the hardest to manage. So we worked really hard in the recruiting process. And then we're going through some transition in our recruiting office. So we've had to work really hard to get the 2012 guys evaluated. And then we've had some staff turnover. And that, you can't believe how much work that creates. So this break comes at a good time for our team, our players, and for the coaches. This is the first time our coaches have come up for air, since the holidays. So it comes at a good time. We kept it very, very base the first 5 practices on both sides of the ball, and I think that's allowing us to come out here and play a little more physical, a little more sure. It's gone like we wanted it to, and we're pleased with where we're at right now.
How about Shavers? And he seems to have that burst that he really can't coach, and he at least, for the time we saw him down there, could really help you and maybe give you a dimension
no question.
He didn't have last fall.
Yeah, he's a good player, and he's really a tough guy. He's a tough guy. He's a blue-collar guy, no nonsense guy. Oh, yes, sir, no, sir. As a physical player, right now he's going so hard and so fast that sometimes he's going so fast he's missing the hole. But he's wide open. He's a go forward with the football guy. He catches it very well. He brings us a lot of the same things to the table that Ralph brings to the table, where he has speed, he has some physicality, he's a very good receiver out of the backfield. I've been tickled to death with him. He can certainly make a difference on our football team, and I think he already has. He's a very good player, an excellent worker, A-plus worker.
Noticed that he had Adam Brockman working at the tackle spot a little bit. Is that a little bit of experiment, or is he going to move down there?
Well, we have a couple D tackles out right now. Pam File's out, and Brandon Taylor's out. And then we have to find out something about these young ends. We have to find out something about Rashad Frazier and Ryan Russell and those guys. And the best way to find out about them is to get them in there and get them to work with the ones and the twos. And, Adam's been here for a while. He's a good player. He can help us inside or outside. He's kind of a tweener in some ways. He's in between an end and a tackle. But he's an excellent spare part if the guy goes down because he knows how to play the techniques, so we wouldn't have any reservation to put him inside or outside. And don't be surprised if we don't try him at some other spots on our football team as well, because he's a senior that wants to play, and he could get buried a little bit in the depth chart across the defensive line as far as the starters go. But he's a good football player, and we could maybe utilize him some, maybe as a blocking fullback, maybe as an H-back or a wing, and also utilizing some of the special teams as well. So that's what spring ball is about, is moving guys around and trying them in different spots. And he's a good football player, and we've got to find some ways of getting on the field. And he's a senior player with a lot of pride, and that's important for us to help him find a role as well.
How about your O-line, especially Nick? Not nearly the neophyte he was back in August, and your other starting tackle, Dennis.
There's some talent on the offensive line, and I like the way they suit up. We have good size, but not big fat guys, so that's a sign of progress. Nick's a good body guy. He was brand new to it last fall and really struggled in camp, and he's miles ahead of where he was, and he can still do a lot better. The light's just now coming on. He's going to get better and better every day. He's a super talent. He's very strong. He runs well. He has to work on his suddenness in and out of the stance some, because there's still some things that are new to him. And then you take Mondek at right tackle. He's a senior that's a big, strong guy that runs well, that started all last year. Then Kenny Plute, that's been a 3.5-year starter for us. He's got good size and he's in pretty decent shape right now. Peters Dry has gotten a lot better, and going against KK every day makes him better. When KK unloads, man, it's a load. He can be legit, and that's good for Peters Dry. He's gotten a lot better, and probably the most improved player on our team right now might be Ricky Snead. He has really improved and goes very hard, and he's lost a lot of fat, taking care of his body. And then Dennis Kelly obviously has been a heck of a player for us and a 3.5-year starter. We're limiting his reps some. He had a little bit of cleanup work in his knee several weeks back, and he's got so many reps that we can go ahead and get Jack DeBoof in there and get him the bulk of it. If Trevor Foy was healthy, then he would be in there getting a ton of reps along with Jack DeBoof, but Trevor's out, so we're force-feeding Jack DeBoof while we have this opportunity. It's a lot for him right now. He hardly comes out of the huddle, and it's a tough position to play, but it's been really good for him. But I like our offensive line. We have some experience. We have some size. We have some athleticism. Much further along than we were this time last year. I'm very encouraged by it.
When you come back for workouts in about 10 days, I guess what will be the goal, the expectation level for what you want to see out of your team, especially that first couple practices?
All the base things that we've been working on, we have to get even better at. The defensive line, they have to be knockback guys. The offensive line have to be guys that can fire out and knock them back. We have to become even more sure with our tackling, and I think we've been tackling very well. We have to, when we grade the defensive players, we have to get guys have to get to the football more, a better ratio for the amount of plays that they're in there. If a guy's in a certain amount of plays, he needs to increase his ratio of plays that he makes. So just to continue making progress and taking steps. We'll keep it pretty simple, and then towards the end of spring, we'll do a little more scheming and game planning, and then towards the end of spring, they'll start putting in more blitzes and more movement. Right now, the offense is going against, a 4-3 defense. It's pretty generic, and it's very vanilla, and that's allowing them to execute. But the defenses will start bringing the movement some in the second half of the spring, bringing the blitzes some, and that'll be good work for our offense as well.
Did the offense look a little bit better today as opposed to